Bring me a sword. The room froze. No one moved. No one breathed. A king had just ordered something unthinkable: to divide a living child in two. Two women stood before the king that morning in Israel, both claiming the same baby, both crying, both insisting the same words: "He is my son." But there were no witnesses, no evidence, no proof, only confusion and a desperate courtroom with no answers. So the king spoke again: "Divide the child into two and give half to each woman." A silence fell so heavy it felt like time stopped. And then it happened. One woman suddenly cried out, "No, give her the child. Just let him live." But the other said something shocking: "Yes, divide him." In that moment, everything changed. Because the king wasn't trying to kill a child. He was revealing a heart. And what happened next would expose the truth in a way no law, no witness, and no evidence ever could. This was not judgment. This was wisdom. And the man they stood before was Solomon. Solomon was not an ordinary king. He ruled Israel in a time of peace, wealth, and expansion. But his greatest power was not his army. It was his mind. People came from distant nations not for gold, not for war, but for answers. Because there was something unusual about him. He could see what others could not. He could judge what others could not solve. And that morning, the entire nation would witness it. But this was only the beginning of what would make his name echo across the world. News spreads fast in ancient Israel. Two women, one child, one impossible decision. No witnesses, no evidence, no truth on the surface. But Solomon doesn't react emotionally. He observes. He listens. Then he gives the command that shocks everyone. Bring me a sword. Not anger, not cruelty, but strategy. A test designed not to destroy life, but to reveal it. And what happened next would expose the deepest truth hidden inside a mother's heart. The sword is raised. The decision looks final. And suddenly, one voice breaks. "No, let the child live. Give him to her. Don't kill him." But the other woman wants the child killed. Everything stops. Because in that moment, truth was no longer hidden in words. It was revealed in sacrifice. Solomon lowers his hand and speaks. "Give the child to the woman who refused his death. She is his mother." No trial, no witnesses, only wisdom. And the people in that room could not believe what they had just witnessed. From that day forward, Solomon was no longer just a king in Israel. He became a name spoken in distant lands. Kings traveled, nations came, riddles were brought, questions no one could answer were placed before him, and he answered them all, not with force, but with understanding. Then came one of the most powerful visitors of his reign, the Queen of Sheba. She was not ordinary, a ruler in her own right, wealthy, intelligent, powerful. She came with gold, spices, and hard questions, not to admire Solomon, but to test him, to break him, to expose him. But something unexpected happened. She asked, he answered, every question, every riddle, every mystery, and she was stunned. She did not hide her reaction. What she saw was beyond human expectation. The wisdom, the order, the understanding. She said in essence, the report I heard was true, but I did not believe it until I saw it myself. And she left not with doubt, but with awe. Solomon didn't just judge disputes. He studied life itself and understood it, and he began to write what he observed. In some of his sayings, he said, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Pride goes before destruction. Guard your heart, for everything flows from it." These were not just sayings. They were observations of reality, words that became references for men in his time and for us in today's present world. Patterns of life seen by a man who watched closely. Solomon saw more than success. He saw the limits of it. In the Ecclesiastes, he wrote, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to build, a time to break, a time to laugh, a time to weep, a time to born and time to die." And then he said something few kings ever admit. After he saw wealth and dwelt in it, in affluence, in pleasure, with 700 wives and 300 concubines, he said, "Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, all is vanity." He questioned the struggles we go through in life and asked, "What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever." He went on to say in different occasions, "I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit." Solomon revealed a truth that is still echoing today, which makes the most educated to be in worries always. He said, "For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow." He thought of himself and said, "Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun." He reminds us to always fear God when he said, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom." How could Solomon, the wisest man of his time, say all these? It is because wisdom sees what others ignore. It sees that wealth fades, power shifts, pleasure empties. It sees the end even from the beginning. The man who understood life better than anyone also confessed its emptiness. He saw everything clearly, but did not always walk accordingly, and this is where the warning lives. Wisdom is not possession. Wisdom is direction. Knowing truth is not the same as living truth. Solomon teaches a silent warning to every generation. You can be wise and still fall. You can understand truth and still ignore it. You can speak wisdom and still lose direction. Because wisdom alone is not enough, guard your heart, because even the wisest man once failed to guard his own. And that is the story of Solomon, the king who solved impossible problems, but struggled with his own heart.